Good morning, good morning, good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Well, as you can probably tell, I'm feeling a little bit chipper than I was yesterday. Um, Feeling a bit better about life. Gary Newhead actually suggested I was suffering from seasonal affective disorder, which ironically is sad for short. Um, Now, bear with me because I can hear me. That's better. The last thing I need is to hear me, really. Um, yeah, seasonal affective disorder, that's sad for sure. I think it's just the fact that I've got not much to look forward to. However, I did have a decent night's sleep, and I am gearing up for the judging of the New Zealand Demolition and Asbestos Association Awards judging, which is just a couple of days away now. So looking forward to that. And we also have a great show for you today as well. Now, you can, as always, have your have your say on today's show in the usual way. Just type any comments into the questions or into the chat, rather, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. Just type away in the chat and I'll get to it. But you can also leave us a voicemail message as well. And if you look over at the chat, I'll show you exactly how to do it. Just as soon as I find the right button, there you are, speakpipe.com/demolition news. And I say very quick good morning because I've said good morning automatically to a bunch of people, but I haven't said good morning to Chris Ford, who has just pitched up. Good morning, Chris. And good morning to Mick Saunders as well. Good morning to you, sir. I hope you're fit and well. Now, without further ado, let me roll the intro, post the question of the day, which you'll be pleased to hear is not one of mine, and we'll get the show on the road. So here we go. It is Tuesday, the 24th of October. Welcome to the audiovisual hellscape that is the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony, and I'm going to say a very quick good morning to Nigel Williams and Ken Hatcher, both of whom have just turned up. Good morning, gentlemen. In today's show, Bobcat expands its product line in pursuit of compact sector dominance. What does it take to fix Tower Bridge? We get a glimpse of high-tech mining, a high-tech mining future with Sandvik, and you've heard of the Axis of evil. What about the Axis of excellence? We'll come to that. We're also going to show you our Volvo High Reach making its maiden voyage over in Texas, San Antonio to be precise. But first, before we get to all of that, let's just peer back through the mist of time, shall we? And see what was happening on this very day in history. On this day in 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, burying the city of Pompeii and killing thousands. Bizarrely, this is actually a revised date. Previous reports suggested that the eruption took place on the 24th of August. What's a few months between friends? But you would have thought, even allowing for the fact that this was a couple of thousand years ago, you'd have thought it would have been a fairly significant date to have written down, wouldn't you? In 1881, Levi P. Morton, yes, I remember him well, US ambassador to France, drove the first rivet in the construction of the Statue of Liberty. In 1929, the Dow Jones Index fell by 12.8% in a single day, now known as Black Thursday, to herald the beginning of the stock market crash. In 1982, tennis star Steffi Graf played her first ever professional tennis match. And on this day in 2022, Rishi Sunak took over as Prime Minister, replacing Liz Truss, who held the job for just 6 weeks. Anybody else think there's been an improvement? Not seeing it myself, but that's just me. Now, before we get into the real meat of the show, let me quickly remind you of our question of the day. Yeah, after the very poor take-up on my attempt at question of the day yesterday, our question of the day today comes once again from Mr. Gary Muirhead, and it is this. What would be your perfect day? Now, To be clear, I once had what I believe to be a proper perfect day. I'd been out looking at Caterpillar wheel loaders in Italy, going from site to site. Already a pretty good start, not a bad way to spend your day. On the way back to the airport, the cat dealer representative took me to a restaurant on a deserted beach. We both kicked off our shoes, loosened our tires, put our feet into warm sand while we drank ice cold. Excuse me, coffee went down the wrong hole. Ice cold white wine and ate octopus salad, which is no bad thing at all. I sat back in my chair thinking, well, life doesn't get much better than this, when right on cue, a dolphin jumped out of the water as we looked out to sea. We're in a little bay. Dolphin jumped out. It was as if God himself had looked down and said, there you go. Now that day really is perfect. I guess my priorities have changed over the years, because perfect days now are when me and Mrs. Demolition News have all four of our children here together. I don't know about you, but our house always feels better when it's the original six. We are a six. I know not everybody is. So I'd quite happily settle for that, which obviously will be about around about Christmas time, I would have guessed. But your perfect day, what is it? What does it look like? How does it start? How does it end? What's the middle bit look like? Let us have your thoughts in the chat, and we will come back to that, I promise, at the very end of the show. So, cast your mind back to Bauma 2022. You might recall that we did an interview with a guy called John Christofides, part of the Bobcat team. During that interview, John explained how it was Bobcat's aim to become the world leader in the compact equipment field. The company had already expanded its product portfolio of skid steers and compact track loaders and attachments, obviously. It had signed partnership agreements that had moved it into new spheres like telescopic handlers. Well, now comes phase 3 of the company's bid for global dominance. And this is what it looks like.
Which way is forward? It's not always straight ahead. It can be way up high, just out of reach, underfoot, uphill, and down. There's more than one way to go after an opportunity. As long as you're well equipped, let's harness the power of an icon and drag the future right here, right now. Construction sites, landscaping projects, farms, but also warehouses, turf, and your own property. You have no shortage of long days on the job. It's time for more solutions, and we'll put the work in so you can get more work out. We're showing up in new ways, bold, passionate, fiercely driven, epically prepared for one sole purpose: to help you accomplish more. Together, we'll dig, reach, build, and blaze trails. You, us, one tough team, breaking new ground every day. Because opportunity is everywhere you look, and Bobcat goes everywhere you are. So no matter which direction you choose, you'll be damn sure it's a step forward. We are Bobcat.
I'm going to agree with Nigel Williams. Good morning, Nigel, who says Bobcat makes some awesome gear. They certainly do. I actually saw some of those landscaping products while I was in the Czech Republic last year. Oh, no, earlier this year, actually, come to think of it. Didn't pay them too much attention because there was lots of new construction kit to look at. But from what I saw, the landscaping and gardening tools look to be every inch of Bobcat, which is no bad thing at all. The other thing, I'm going to throw that up. It's funny, we always assume Bobcat only make skid steers. Wow, yeah, they certainly have a broader range than that. The other thing as well, I don't know if you remember, not for this business, but in when we went to Samota, the Samota show over in Verona, again earlier this year, Bobcat very quietly introduced a machine which was a forklift for warehousing hydrogen, running on hydrogen. So they're quietly dipping their toe into the hydrogen market. Be interesting to see how that all pans out. Now, I can see that Andy Dovell, morning Andy, saying good morning to Greg Nichols. I can't see Greg in the chat. I'm sure I'm going to take your word for it that he's here. But Greg, say hello. We'll give you some confetti to welcome you aboard. Dan Cullen says, great video from Bobcat again. Totally agree. Let's have a look. Yeah, lots of answers coming into our question of the day, but we will get to that. bit later on. First, we'll have a bit of this.
If you are enjoying this episode, please consider supporting the show. You can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news. Tower Bridge in London is one of the most iconic structures in the nation's capital. It currently opens about twice a day to allow large vessels to pass beneath. That may seem like a lot, but compare that to its first year operation when the bridge was raised 6,194 times. I guess we used boats and ships a lot more back then, all of which, I guess, requires some high precision maintenance. So by way of a change, I thought I'd show you just how that maintenance is done.
So in very simple terms, we're replacing one of the nose bolts, and we're doing all 4 of them over the next few nights. The nose bolts are the piece that joins the 2 bashcles together when the bridge comes down and closes, and then they retract out the way to allow the bridge to open. They're quite critical in ensuring that the bridge, when it's in its closed position, operates correctly.
Yeah, generally the nose bolts have been on Tower Bridge, I believe, for around about 30 or 40 years. Over that time they've worn, so we've manufactured new nose bolts, and over the next few evenings we're replacing the old ones for the new ones, as well as the bearings that they actually pass through because they're worn as well.
So nose bolts were last probably replaced, and we haven't got a record of it, when the bridge had a major refurbishment back in the 1970s, when they changed it over from the boiler and the steam hydraulics to electric motors and hydraulic motors. The nighttime part is mainly to minimise the disruption to the public generally, particularly the travelling public, as well as the residents and the neighbours, and also allows us to actually better get on with it without too many other disturbances and other works going on as well.
It is relatively straightforward. It's just quite difficult to get to the inside of the nose bolts. It's restricted access. We have mechanical lifting equipment, but we just use manual means to get them out.
Continue on the push. How far? Hold it.
So City Bridge Foundation is the charity that maintains and owns all 5 bridges that we are responsible for, which is Tower, London, Southwark, Millennium and Blackfriars. It was set up from the first London Bridge when they collected tolls and rents, and those monies have been invested over the years to the position now where the bridges are fully maintained at no cost to the taxpayer at all, and the foundation and the charity are allowed to give away in the order of 30 million every year to other charities in London.
Well, we work on a hell of a lot of bridges. We are bridge engineers, so it's probably the most famous bridge. So yeah, it's really good for us.
Opened in 1894. Can't tell you how many times I must have travelled across that. My dad grew up Tower Bridge Road, about half a mile away from that bridge, so very much part of my manor when I was growing up. Never given its maintenance a great deal of thought until I saw that film. I saw that Gary Muirhead had said, "There's your fox, Mark." I didn't actually spot a fox in the film. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but if there was a fox, it may well have been our roof fox. You never know. Let's have a look. Nigel Williams. Tower Bridge, true icon of our capital. Funny story that the Yanks bought London Bridge and thought they were buying Tower Bridge. Very true. Did they not then erect the London Bridge, the original London Bridge, over in Arizona, I think it was, off the top of my head? Mick Saunders says, had the pleasure of working on Tower Bridge a while ago. Got to admit the team who work on it are top league. Fantastic stuff. Slightly different opinion to Peter McKenna, who says they're like council workers, one doing the job, the rest stood there gulping. Okay, let's have a look. What a spliffing job, says Spliffing Job. There you are. Yes, okay, so we've moved on from all of that. I think we need a break from that to bring you this.
Going to go over to this from Nigel Williams, who says Sutton Bridge on the Great Ooze. I've fished the Great Ooze near Kings Lynn. There used to be a real pinch point when it opened to let boats through. It really opens these days. That's a change in transport. I do remember the one, as I say, I've travelled over Tower Bridge on a number of occasions. I think I've been through it probably 2 or 3 times on boats, one of which, if I remember rightly, we had special dispensation. Caterpillar had supplied a pair of huge, powerful engines to do a round Britain challenge. The boat was sponsored, co-sponsored by Caterpillar and the booze Drambuie, and apparently it was named after a Drambuie-based cocktail. So the boat was called the Rusty Nail. I have no idea what happened to the Rusty Nail, but for a photo opportunity, they specifically opened Tower Bridge so that we could roar through it, probably breaking all the speed limits on the Thames at the same time. But that was a good day out. Not a perfect day, but it was a good day out. We'll come back to the perfect days in just a moment. Now, by now, I think you're all familiar with the Knox tilt rotator concept from Kinsoffer. Well, over in the US, they've taken the product and put a different spin on it. Spin? Tilt rotator? Spin? Never mind, just have a look.
The tilt rotator you've been waiting for has finally arrived. Smooth, powerful rotation. The widest tilting range in the industry. And now, a tilt rotator without cylinders. Introducing AXXIS by AMI Attachments. It's a whole new spin on tilt rotators. The AXXIS tilt rotator gives operators the most compact solution for ultimate work tool dexterity. Instead of tilting with cylinders, the AXXIS TR features a helical actuator, boasting 50-degree tilt in both directions, the best in the industry. This fully enclosed elliptical piston eliminates exposed cylinders that are constantly at risk of damage. No cylinders also means the AXXIS is incredibly compact, so you can dig narrower trenches with less soil disruption. With constant holding torque in any position, the helical actuator also ensures reliable strength to carry heavy loads at any angle. Encased in oil is an oversized worm gear, delivering precision rotation 360 degrees. Both rotation and tilt operate using proportional control, giving you as much or as little movement as you need. For enhanced multitasking, add on the available integrated gripper with bypass tines to pick and sort fine material as well as large objects. Operate the AXXIS TR using the intuitive Knox Prop Plus proportional control system. Featuring a large, bright, and adjustable touch display, each attachment has a unique profile and identifies the exact tilt angle and rotation position. Equipped with premium ergonomic joysticks from SVAB, AXXIS TR puts proportional control in the palm of your hands. For operators using GPS controls, the Knox Geo system is fully compatible with most GPS manufacturers. The AXXIS TR is designed for excavators from 4-ton to 25-ton, with 3 models available, and includes a 2-year limited warranty. Only need tilting function? Check out the AXXIS TC Tilt Coupler. Featuring up to 180-degree tilt range, the AXXIS TC is available for excavators up to 45-ton. The AXXIS Tilt Rotator and AXXIS Tilt Coupler by AMI Attachments. Contact AMI to configure the tilt rotator or tilt coupler that's best for you. AXXIS by AMI Attachments. It's a whole new spin on tilt rotators.
Well, you've heard of the axis of evil. Now you've heard of the axis of excellence. What do you make of that? Looks pretty good to me. Let me know in the chat. Now, I did say that I was going to give a proper welcome. There is Greg Nichols. Don't remember seeing Greg here before. So let's give him the welcome that he so richly deserves. There is some welcome confetti. And I have to say, that is how you should arrive on a new show. Hello, my lover. That's the way you arrive. None of this quietly creeping around in the background. Hello, my lover. That's how you make a name for yourself. Morning, Greg. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Yeah, Peter McKenna says looks a decent bit of kit. I totally agree. I'm just seeing some of the comments coming through on your proposed perfect day. I'll come to that. James Lane says, guess the cost of these rotators is the reason people don't use them. But when I have seen them, they look amazing. Saw a large cat on the A14 last week. They were backgrading banks without one. He then goes on to say they had the bucket on backwards. I think a rotator would have made the job much quicker. I agree, but they are definitely coming. There was a time when I think you were considered something of a lunatic if you had a tilt rotator. Over the past couple of years, they've really started to make inroads, as I'm sure. Well, I mean, Ed Butler has just turned up in the chat, actually. Somewhere. I saw him arrive. Where did he go? There you are, Ed Butler. If anybody wants to know anything about tilt rotators, Ed or his sidekick, Steve Williamson, are your men. Go and have a word with them, and they'll tell you all about the benefits of tilt rotators in general, but the Knox tilt rotator from Kinsoffer in particular. Now, let's throw over to a spot of this.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
Now, this is how conversations go off a tangent. Hello, my lover, said Greg Nichols a little bit earlier. And Andy Darvell says, goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. James Blunt. Jim Turner also picked up the James Blunt. Peter McKenna picked up on. What the hell? But I had no intention of going down the James Blunt route. Now, here's a question for you. You people know these things better than I do. James Lane has suggested that Encon was the original tilt rotator. Is that true? In the back of my head, there's something that tells me that is actually the case. But was it? If anybody remembers a tilt rotator before the original Encon, I'd love to hear about it. And Ken Hatteridge just said, lots watching today. Yes, there does appear to be. Haven't broken any records yet, but if we do, I'll let you know. But we are doing remarkably well. I'm sure it's this lovely mustard-coloured top that I'm... No, it probably isn't. Now, as you all know, if you watch with any degree of regularity, you know I like me a bit of new technology. I also like the occasional glimpse into the world of mining. Wouldn't it be marvellous if we could just combine the two?
AutoMine Core is an automated platform for mass mining applications, built on Sandvik's proven AutoMine fleet and manual production monitoring solutions. For autonomous mines to achieve their highest potential, a robust communication network, reliable safety system, and an advanced automation system is required. AutoMine Core provides access to industry-leading solutions for underground connectivity, data collection and analysis, and an advanced fleet of automated equipment options, making underground mining safer, more sustainable, and productive. Integrated solutions with Sandvik partners like Polymathian's Orb further improve productivity, allowing for autonomous dispatching with real-time end-to-end optimization. The platform uses AutoMine's reliable access control system to isolate automated equipment with a variety of barrier options. Features such as flexible safety zones allow for alternating states between autonomous and manual operation, so critical tasks can be completed with minimal interruptions. Autonomous loading and dumping, high-speed tramming, and fleet traffic control between loaders and trucks are all part of AutoMine's automated equipment solutions that can increase a mine's productivity and efficiency. Robust connectivity with MineLAN and other proven network technologies enables better reliability of data collection and analysis for telemetry, autonomy, and optimization of fleet performance. For more than 20 years, AutoMine traffic management systems have enabled safe control of various equipment. The systems are designed to handle complex situations such as advanced deadlock control, passing bays, dynamic dispatch, and speed scaling, resulting in flexibility and greater mining output. AutoMine Core combines advanced planning and scheduling capability with top-tier autonomy, integrating seamlessly into a mine's digital ecosystem. Full production cycles are completed autonomously, starting new production tasks immediately while adhering to the most complex traffic requirements in mass mining operations. World-class AutoMine dead reckoning technology, built into manual equipment tracking, enables highly accurate production tracking, allowing for precise planning of manual missions and tracking of production actuals. On sustainable battery electric equipment, safety is enhanced in battery swapping for both manual and automated operations, reducing equipment downtime and greenhouse gas emissions. AutoMine Core, a complete mass mining automation solution with field-proven technologies, equipment, and services. Let automation take your mass mining to another level. Automate with confidence.
That operator station you just saw, that was precisely what I imagined when I wrote my fiction book, Demolition 2051, off in a remote location, nowhere near, in my case, Demolition site, or in that case, nowhere near mine. That book is still available to buy, by the way, should you so desire. It's over on Amazon, Demolition 2051 by me. On a similar subject, just while it's in my head, I'd like to say hats off to the team at the Scottish Plant Owners Association, SPOA, which have just invested in a state-of-the-art 10-star plant simulator to help upskill the Scottish plant sector and to attract more young people into the field as well. So hats off to them. I'd wrongly concerned that they may take their foot off the gas once Callum McIntosh stepped down. It appears their foot is very much to the floor. We're going to be back right after this with a new film, which I think Andy Dalvell is going to enjoy. It doesn't have Keira Knightley in it, but I think you'll enjoy it nonetheless.
If you would like to buy a limited edition Break Fast show sticker, head on over to buymeacoffee.com/demolition news/extras.
Yeah, our final clip of the day shows the maiden voyage of a Volvo EC750 EHR high-reach demolition rig in the US, where it's taking down a 10-story building in San Antonio, Texas. It doesn't require any more introduction than that. Andy, sit back and enjoy. Yeah, fantastic job, fantastic machine, and as a few people have said, fantastic tune as well. I chose that. I didn't write it, didn't perform it, but I did choose it. Tune, dubstep suits demo so perfectly. My thoughts entirely. I don't know why dubstep does suit Demolition, and for reasons I can't fully explain. When I'm looking at vintage plant, particularly dozers and scrapers, always think the blues. I don't know why that is. I'm going to say a very quick good morning to Charlie Austin. That's a bit of us, Andy Darvell. Charlie Austin, don't remember seeing Charlie here before, so he gets some welcome confetti as well. Good morning to you, Charlie. Looks like Andy Darvell's got all his mates with him today. Good. Swell the audience, that's what I say. We are very busy on the show today, so that's always good news. Speaking of Andy Darvell, there we are. There he is. That would be a great project to work on. Fantastic machine, nice looking building. Love a big drop from the top of the building. Yeah, I have to say, we've produced better films over the years, including our recent one, The Top Down Way, the Jumbo, both with Despe. But there's a clip. We were up in Birmingham. Just so happened that at the same time, the big DSM Caterpillar demolition machine was working nearby, so I made a couple of phone calls. Can we fly the drone overhead? And there's one clip where the drone is looking down on this huge high ridge, 70-meter high ridge, and a piece of concrete, it falls that far that the piece of concrete looks like a feather. It just kind of floats to the ground. Gorgeous stuff. Nigel Williams, Peter McKenna, there's Meriden Chippy around the corner. I'm planning chicken shish and salad for lunch today. No idea what that's got to do with anything. Sounds like a plan, Nigel. Okay, there's clearly a conversation going on over to one side. Ed Butler says, great video. Thank you very much indeed. Now, there is no gripe of the day, mainly because I'm feeling fairly chipper today, but also because there's lots to get through in the chat. So that pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show. I'm going to roll the outro before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today and to find out what you consider to be a perfect day as well. If you can't stick around, please stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. But if you do have the time and the inclination, please stick around because I'll be back with the Craic immediately after this final word from our key show sponsor. Good morning, all. I'm looking forward to getting to the perfect day of Andy Darvell. We'll come to that in just a second because he and I are sort of one mind, I have to say. Who was first off the mark? Peter McKenna, who we may actually lose from the plant ranks because he may be off to sell wine for a living. Tito to myself, not even remotely interested. My wife is awfully I should call her my wife. My wife is awfully excited about him joining the ranks of the sommelier industry. Be a loss to the industry, though. What does that say about the industry where we're letting somebody go? I don't know. Dan Cullen is here as well. Morning, Dan. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We're back with a better question of the day. Thank you to Gary Muirhead, who says, good morning, Mark. Good morning, gang. Thank you very much indeed for the question. And good morning to you as well, Gary. Glenn Johnston is in the house. Morning, Glenn. And Jim Turner is here as well. Morning, chaps. How are you diddly doing this morning? Andy Darvell is with us. We'll come back to Andy when we get to our question of the day. There is Peter McKenna. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Got the collie baubles today as it's my operation tomorrow morning. Peter, that means that you will miss the 600th show, but I think your priorities are probably better where they are. I'll be keeping my fingers crossed for you, mate. Let us know how you get on. Not immediately, when you get round to it, but good luck for tomorrow. And Darvell says, good morning, Charlie. Charlie actually pops up a bit later on. James Lane says, morning, Mark. Another wet day in Suffolk. It's a wet day in Surrey as well, just to let you know. How are all your filthy animals and ladies and gentlemen alike? Goddamn fine morning. Is it a goddamn fine morning? It's a bit bleak out there this morning. There's Charlie Austin. Morning, Charlie. Thank you very much indeed for giving us your time this morning. Hope to see you here on a regular basis. Can't rely on it, obviously, but, and there's Andy Darvell saying, everyone, let me introduce Charlie Austin, a great machine op and a great mate. That's the sort of people we like to have here. So good morning to you, Charlie. As I say, hope to see you here again in the not too distant future. Good morning, compatriots, and thanks, Mark. I've received a box of goodies, christened the mug this morning. That would be the Kent Demolition goodies, I would imagine. Long overdue, Chris. I have no idea what happened. I think I parked them somewhere and just never got to sending it out, but I'm glad it's finally arrived. It's persisting down today for a change, says Peter McKenna. Peter's up in Preston, thereabouts. Always raining up there, isn't it? Mick Saunders here. Morning, one and all. Morning to you as well, Mick. We can hear you too, thank God. We aim to please. We aim to please. Let's have a look. Now, here was the question of the day, courtesy of Mr. Muirhead. What would be your perfect day? As I say, I had my perfect day in Italy, but perfect day now, I'm a man of simple pleasures. Just me, the wife, and the 4 kids. I've got grandchildren and, you know, love them to death, but when it's just the 6 of us, it's like old times. And I have to say, I'm a huge fan. Ken Hatcher has got all manner of weather by the looks of it. Morning, Ken. Hope you're fitting well, my friend. I've already got in my head what Ken Hatcher's perfect day looks like. Sprocket spotting, visit to the Royal Mint, pizza. I don't know if that's true. We'll come to it. Nigel Williams says, good morning from a rainy Birmingham. Looks like the rain is everywhere this morning. Question of the day. Peter McKenna says, spending time with friends, partaking good food, beverages, and enthusiastic laughter. You see, now, here's the thing. I was actually thinking this last night. I've got a bit of a sideline now. I won't bore you with it, but I've got a bit of a sideline. In addition, just basically to keep my brain fresh, I guess. In addition to writing about all things demolition, construction equipment, I've got a little sideline over to one side on a platform called Medium where I write about other stuff. And one of the things that I've been thinking about writing about is that enthusiastic laughter. I remember when I was younger, on a huge number of occasions, laughing so hard. There were a couple of times I thought I might actually die. Couldn't catch my breath, chest hurt, just laughing uncontrollably. I can't remember the last time I did that. I laugh. My face may suggest otherwise. I do laugh, and I like a good joke and a bit of banter with, friends and family and everything else. But I can't remember the last time. I mean, I've literally been in a pub before now, and something that struck me as so funny. I've literally ended up on all fours on the floor, and booze wasn't the reason. It was just pure, uncontrollable, enthusiastic laughter. When was the last time anyone did that? Or is it just me? Excuse me. Apparently, I've misconstrued Ken Hatcher's perfect day, because his perfect day will be at the Cat Test Centre in Malaga. It's a good call. It is a good call. It is a fantastic place. Not sure I'm going to get invited back there anytime soon, but it really is worth it. Question of the day. D8T on some decent mark, full 12-hour shift. Okay. Spent at work then, Nigel. Good morning, you smelly lot, and good morning, Mr. Anthony. I think I'm probably one of the smelly lot, to be perfectly honest, but thank you very much indeed, going. Good to see you here. Gary Muirhead. I think we could have predicted this. Question of the day. I'm starting to see how this works. So Gary suggests a question of the day that will allow him to talk about steel wrist in some way. So perfect day, spending a whole day going around the steel wrist factory and meeting all the amazing people that make this fantastic product possible. If you're not one of their paid ambassadors, Gary, you really should be. I don't know anybody else that is quite so enthusiastic about a product. Dan Cullen says, why does people call you when you settle into this show? I have my phone on airplane mode for the show because, as I've already mentioned, today is our 599th show, 600 tomorrow. I've been doing this for more than 3 years. In fact, it's like 3.5 years. And still, people ring me between 10 and 11. Are they not paying attention? Really? And there's Peter McKenna. Ring, ring. Why do they ring during the show? Because they're not mind readers, according to Peter McKenna. Paul D didn't see Paul come through the chat. Morning, Paul. Thank you very much indeed for being here. You're welcome. Let's have a look. Chris Ford. Question day. Waking up to find I've won the Euro Millions jackpot, wouldn't have to worry about paying the bills or whether there's any work. There again, I never buy a ticket. No, I never buy a ticket either. I do occasionally, when one of the kids says the jackpot is 150 million and I happen to be in a shop, I buy a couple of tickets and then regret it because I already know it's not going to happen. But there you are. Question of the day, Graham Footy Williams. Get the house from the council, bring my dogs home, put my furniture into the house. That'd be the best thing ever at the moment. And get me have a garages. Well done. Put me hard. Not sure what the last bit is, but morning, Mr. McKenna, Nigel Williams, Andrew Darvell, Jim Turner, Gary Muirhead, and everyone else on everyone else, machine on new level this week, making fantastic progress at last. Good, glad to hear it. Mick Saunders. Question of the day. Not getting up to take the hound out at 4:30. That's a pretty good start. Having someone to do the cleaning and cooking, so saying I wouldn't be without the hound, and he is cheaper and quieter than a woman about the house. Yeah, and a lot less problematic. The wife's out today. I can say what I like. A lot less problematic. Your dogs, aren't they? Bobcat makes some awesome gear. They really do. And obviously, they're not the first to go down these kind of diversionary lines. Obviously, JCB have got their power tools and so on down the line. Caterpillar with marine engines and various other bits and pieces. But Bobcat, it seems like an obvious thing. You know, Bobcat skid steers and compact track loaders go into agricultural and farming, so farming to landscaping, not a huge leap, but interesting diversification. That's the word I was looking for. Funny, we always assume Bobcat only makes skid steers. Yeah, it really is quite interesting. You go to the factory, which I was lucky enough to do earlier this year over in Dobříš in the Czech Republic, about an hour outside Prague. And it is quite astonishing. You get there, and obviously there's the skid steers, and there's the compact track loaders, and there's the wheel loaders, and the telehandlers, and the lighting rigs, and it just seems to go on and on. I don't think they're attachment-wise, they may be pretty close. Don't think they make as many different products as Caterpillar, for example, but they do make an awful lot. They are way more than just skid steers these days. There is a comment on Peter McKennan's operation tomorrow. I hope it all goes well. Yeah, as do I. Good morning, Greg Nichols says, and Darvell. We do say good morning to him in just a second. Great video from Bobcat again. Yep, can rely on them to make some good products, but also rely on them to make some very good videos as well. I'm breaking up bad today. Maybe it's my new iPhone. Ken Hatcher has finally got his 15 Pro iPhone. Don't know if you've had it yet, but there's a little something on its way to you to go with that. You'll see. There's your fox, Mark. Was there a fox in that Tower Bridge video? I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it now, aren't I? Yeah, there is the details of the Americans buying London Bridge and thought they were buying Tower Bridge. Who buys a bridge anyway? Mick Saunders says, I had the pleasure of working on Tower Bridge a while ago. Got to admit the team who work on it are in the top league. Yeah, you certainly want them to be in the top league, bearing in mind the amount of traffic that goes over Tower Bridge. Primarily, in my opinion, they're on their way to Manze's in Tower Bridge Road for the pie and mash. Best pie and mash in London. Listen, you can suggest otherwise, but in my humble opinion, my show, my opinion counts. Manze's in Tower Bridge Road, best pie mash in London. Cooks and Kelly's run them a close second. Maureen's not bad. Robbins is pretty good as well. But Manze's Tower Bridge Road. If ever you're in that part of the world, go there. You'll thank me. Question of the day. Dan Cullen says, getting up at 4 a.m. Every day and keep living the dream in paradise. I always love being able to get up and greet the day with optimization as a plant operator. As many a poor soul would wish they were capable of getting out there on steam. I feel for those. What's that expression? If you love what you do for a living, you'll never work a day in your life. Something like that. Jim Turner says, question of the day. Excuse me. Perfect day. Flat out muck shifting with my lad, the missus, and a few friends working for me, building my own set of reservoirs for hydroelectric power generation. That's what I keep putting the numbers on for. Would be a fantastic project to track, wouldn't it? There is Nigel Williams talking about bridges and boats. I'm sure I mentioned this before. We went to report on an R. Collard demolition project. Must be 3 or 4 years ago now. I can't even remember where it was. Somebody just asked me to give them a call. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was in London, not that far from Acton, if I remember rightly. And they were doing all the muck away on barges. And I have to say, it just seemed like such a sensible thing to do. Admittedly, the project was right beside the canal, but yeah, why not? Why not? We have the waterways. Why not use them instead of clogging up the roads even more than we already have? It's not just diggers and does on the show. There's bridges as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously I like to vary things up a bit. We've had a bit of mining, we had a bit of quarrying over the years. We've also had a couple of trips into AXXIS and cranes and stuff like that. It's stuff that takes my fancy, to be perfectly honest. But one of the things that I'm still learning about this audience. You know, I've played some vintage plant, and people seem to love vintage plant. As far as I was concerned, this was going to be a new show, so it was going to be everything would be bang up to date, the very latest of the very latest. Turns out that's not necessarily what everyone wants. There is these trips down memory lane as well. And looking at things like the Sandvik auto mine system today, is that the way that demolition could ultimately go? Personally, I've written about it. Personally, I believe it could well do, and maybe it should well do, given the whole safety notion. It was something I discussed with Stefano Panseri. We were up on the top-down way system in Milan a couple of weeks ago. If obviously the top-down way is incredibly safe because it basically cocoons the entire top of the building. You couldn't fall off the building if you tried. But if you've taken you've taken that away, why not just let the machines do their own thing? Operate them autonomously or automate them or whatever it might be, or operate them from ground level so there's no men up top at all. Seems like the next logical step. And as you say, bridges as well. We've played a few bits and pieces about what was the recent one we did? Brisbane, the tunnel that's being built in Brisbane ahead of was it the Commonwealth Games or the Olympic Games? I think it may well have been the Olympics, can't remember. But and people seem to love that stuff. You know, I think if you're in construction, if you're in demolition, it becomes kind of a part of your makeup. So bridges do occasionally qualify. A crusher I worked with 7 hours ago, landed on site, still well maintained. Okay, let's have a look. There's Ed Butler, all the way. I'm guessing he's from coming in from Wales. He may not be. He does travel around a bit. Good morning, Ed. Good to see you here, my friend. Let's have a look. Who else have we got here? Looks like another great tilt rotator without rams. Obviously based on Knox. That is the cylinderless. The cylinderless. I have real trouble saying that. The cylinderless tilt rotator, which we saw recently, the TRO45. Ed Butler was there. He saw it. We did that with the fine folks at Olga Talk. But yes, Knox are. I'm guessing one of the options that they're offering is the ability to badge. So if you're a manufacturer or a supplier like AMI Attachments over in the States, you can take that Knox tilt rotator and build your own products on top of it. Wonder what the cost comparison is. Not sure what that is relating to. Let's have a look. Question of the day. Getting my hair back. And I'm guessing that's losing 5 stone, John Finley. That would be one hell of a day, wouldn't it? Losing 5 stone in a day. You'd need to sit down after that. I guess the cost of these rotators is the reason people don't use them. Increasing number of people are. Saw a large cat on the A14 last week, says James Lane. They were back grading banks without one. Why would you make your life more difficult than it needs to be? Dan Cullen says 2-year warranty is limited. Not great. It's beyond 2 years. Problems may occur. Is that really necessary? I just want Bluetooth connectivity for podcasts. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a conversation going on that I'm not aware of, but yeah. Now, this is where the conversation about James Blunt started. Dan Cullen says, who sang that song? Hello, my lover. Hello, my friend. I think it was Goodbye, wasn't it? Wasn't it Goodbye? Can't say I'm an aficionado of old James Blunt. Very funny on Twitter, but I can't bear his music. James Lane says, Encon were the original tilt rotator, I seem to recall. There is the answers on James Blunt, James Blunt, James Blunt. Okay, lots watching today, says Ken Hatchett. The numbers have dwindled since I started talking non-stop. But now, Chris Ford says, alternative answer in initials for our question of the day, which is your perfect day, S, C, and BJ. I can figure out what the B and the J stand for. SC. Anybody? Anybody's got any suggestions? I'm wearing cat yellow. It is more of a kind of English mustard. Although by the time it's gone over the airwaves and we've got some slightly bluish light, maybe it does look cat yellow. I can assure you, I'm in mutard today. Now, I said I'd get to Andy Darvell's answer to the question of the day because while my wife's not here, I'm in full agreement with him. Get up late. Keira Knightley round for a bit of How's Your Father and some lovely food and wine. Let's go. Yeah, that would be a fantastic day, wouldn't it? Keira Knightley. Let's all take a moment to appreciate Keira Knightley, shall we? Nigel Williams says, saw the Bell truck from Al Grierson on LinkedIn. Looked rather smart. Was that... Did he do an autonomous truck or something like that? I do seem to remember him talking about something like that. There is John Finley as well. Peter McKenna getting ahead of himself on his new job. Want to buy some wine? If anybody's in the market for wine, you know where to find Peter. Do you have Kira's number? If so, I'll buy some wine. Sadly, I don't. Now, James Lane asked if Encon was the first tilt rotator. According to Dan Cullen, Rototilt was the first, produced in Sweden in the 80s, according to Wikipedia. Who knew? Jim Turner says that's the way all battery power plants should be. That is the battery powered plant that we featured from Sandvik on the Automine system, where the machines reverse in, pick up the battery and carry on. Awesome system. I wonder how far away we are from that. The other thing that struck me about that as well, and I realise I don't work in mining, so maybe this is a really naive thing to say. When I think of mining, I tend to think of a hole in the ground and a tunnel. Of course there are multiple tunnels. Of course they're working lots of different seams with different machines all at the same time. Why would you go in one hole when you could go in 15? I don't know anything, do I really? Graham Footy Williams, amazing what they can do now. Ain't that the truth? Peter McKenna says, be a bit of a step down, selling wine instead of driving plant. In some ways. Love that. Great video that, he says. That's Nigel Williams. Let's have a look. Jim Turner thinks dubstep suits Demolition perfectly, and I totally agree. That's a drop. Yeah, it certainly is. 10 stories straight down. Great demo video, says Ed Butler. Andy Darvell says that would be a great project to work on. Fantastic machine. Nice looking building. Love a big drop from the top of a building. Well, so long as I'm a long way away, that's how my face got broken. So, generally. Sound a bit in and out at my end. Lots of freezing up. It's been running perfectly well here. Not that proves a damn thing. As for a bit the other, an old boy who worked for me said when he was younger he could have eaten it. Now he's older, he wish he had done. I actually remember my dad saying precisely the same thing to me as well. I hope you've wiped the crack before you start, Mark. No idea what that's about, but okay. Dan Cullen's going back to work. Have a great day and stay safe, people. Yeah, please do that. Andy Darvell, is Keira Knightley going to be a prize to win on the 600th show? You've really got a bit of a thing for a Keira Knightley, haven't you? Let me put it like this. Let me explain exactly how the giveaways work on this show. I am given, sent, I receive stuff, models and hats and everything else. And by and large, I give away about 99% of it. If somebody gifted me Keira Knightley, I promise you, Andy, you are not getting a look in. There is, once she came in, she'd never be leaving. Let's put it like that. Sun is splitting the concrete here in Basingstoke. Good to hear. Oh, good. Thank you very much indeed for that, Charlie. He says he's going to be a regular from today. It's been great watching. Thank you very much indeed. We need to keep up the standards now, people, now that we've got a new viewer. Good news, Charlie Austin. We all love diggers. Yes, we certainly do. It's a bizarre thing that's brought us together, but it has brought us together. Question day. My other perfect day would be being happy to make new acquaintances, make new best friends, and getting out of bed every day. Yeah, I'm sure I've shared this before. Used to work. We had an office adjacent to a landfill site, and every morning you'd walk past the guy. There was a guy of about 75, maybe 80 years old, who used to sweep the yard. He'd been employed there previously as a digger driver, and just stayed, And I walked in one morning, and he was singing and whistling to himself. And I said to him, "What are you so cheerful about?" And he said, "I woke up this morning." Good way, good attitude. God bless you for tomorrow, Peter. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thoughts are with you. So thank you kindly, says Peter McKenna. Andy Darvell says, do you know Peter Lamb? Works for Steelers, but used to work for Volvo. See, now, I didn't read that fully. Peter Lamb, the name Peter Lamb immediately triggered Volvo in my head. I didn't realise he was at Steelers. Any giveaways for the 600th show? Yeah, why not? Why not? I'll find something. I don't know what it is, but I'll find something. Don't make the mistake of putting an S in Bobcat when doing a Google search. It was horrendous. I can only imagine. You found me out. I know. I'm still waiting for my ambassador badge. They really don't know what they're missing, do they? Did you get that link for the Tesla van I sent you? I did indeed. Yeah, Tesla service van being filled up with diesel. There you are. I won't be getting one. I couldn't afford the insurance. No, quite right. I have a steel wrist. Spent lots of time as a young boy looking for the poster of Sam Fox on my bedroom wall. Yes, okay. Nigel Williams, can't do pie and mash. Goes against my diet. All them carbs and starch. That's what makes it good. Good morning, everyone. From is that Ocala in Florida? Dave Daffron watching all the way from Florida. Good of you to join us, Dave. Thank you very much indeed for being here. You got to go to Londinium and have a plate of pie and mash and liquor. Oh my, says Peter McKenna. Yes, it is. It is the food of the gods. Trust me. I've had pie and mash 4 times this week, but you haven't had it at Mansy's. See, if I could wave a magic wand and make a get-together of the Breakfast Show massive, as you all are, if I could make it happen anywhere, it would be there. I'd enthrall you with tales of 35 years in journalism while you're all tucking into pie and mash, and a few braver ones might be tucking into some eels as well. Maybe 7 years ago, sorry. Not sure what that relates to. Yay, Diesel's arrived, says Paul Deegan. In that case, you are forgiven. Go off and do your thing, Paul. Right, people. It is the 600th show tomorrow. There is nothing planned apart from the grand unveiling of the gift that Gary Muirhead very kindly sent us. It's sat right by me at the moment. I'll reveal it tomorrow. And I'll find a giveaway. In actual fact, I think if anybody is in the market for... I know what we'll do. I've got here not about my person, but I've got fairly close by. I've got a Kinsover backpack. Anyone fancy one of those? We'll be giving that away tomorrow. Just decided. Mick Saunders says, I think I'll have a trip to Chris Street and have breakfast in Maureen's. Breakfast in Maureen's, that's a fantastic place to go. Braised eels. Funnily enough, I don't do jellied eels. I don't mind hot eels in a pie and mash shop, but get me in, and I don't know why this is, get me in Amsterdam, and I will actively go and seek out smoked eel. Smoked eel. That's a treat and no mistake. No idea how we got there, but thank you very much indeed for leading us down that path. Everybody, please go and have a fantastic day. It'll be our 600th show tomorrow. As I say, no great razzmatazz plan, because 500 is a big deal, 1,000 is a big deal, 600 is just another show. But there will be a Kinshofer backpack up for grabs, and they're very, very smart. The reason I haven't given it away before was because, frankly, I was planning to keep it. But there you are. Let's have a look. Oh, that's not fair, Mark. Can I have naming competition by proxy? I tell you what, Peter. I can't put your name in, but I'll enter. And if I win, I can't fix it. If I win, you get the prize. How about that? You're making me jealous. Mixon says 2 pies, double mash, and stewed eels. For those that are the stewed eels, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But in where I come from, 2 pies, double mash is known as a double-double. It is. And for reasons I've never fully understood, you eat pie mash, they have knives, they have forks, and they have spoons. Never used a knife in a pie mash shop in my entire life. Fork and spoon. I don't know why that is. That's just the way it's done. Sounds fair. Thank you, Mark. Not a problem at all, Peter. Yeah, I'll figure that out for tomorrow. So yes, everybody, join me tomorrow to celebrate the 600th show. The grand unveiling of the gift that Gary Muirhead very kindly not only sent us, but actually had made in our honour, which I'm completely blown away by. And yes, we'll be giving away a Kinshofer backpack and Big Saunders. See, it's not just me. Never the knife. There are knives there. There are knives there. But we all, us proper Londoners, shun the knife. Not in crime terms. Love a knife in London for crime. But when it comes to pie mash shops, never the knife. Never the knife. You live and learn. There you are. That's how us Londoners live. Spoon and fork, bizarrely. And yes, take care, Peter. Good luck. Wouldn't it be lovely to get your operation over, awake to learn that you are now the proud owner of a Kinshofer backpack? Wouldn't that just make your day, Peter? I'll see what I can do. Everybody, go and have a fantastic day. Stay safe, one and all. I'm off. I'm off too. Off ski. I am going. Everybody, have a fantastic day. I'll see you all tomorrow for more of this for the 600th time. 600. Good Lord. I may get a proper job one of these days, but until then, everybody have a fantastic day. All the best.